Yeah. Let's go. They can see that I'm the legend. Got the gold in my possession. No doubt in my mind, no question. I hold the keys to my successes. Greatness lives inside of me. Cut me open, bleed royalty. I've never known defeat. That's for the weak. For the throne, you better show loyalty. Nothing can stand in my way. I look it right in the face. I'm never slowing down. Yeah, I'm winning this race. Can't hold me back. Can't hold me down. It's time for me to own it now. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level. I'm on a whole new level.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Damn, I'm hyped. That intro is awesome.
Awesome.
Man, hopefully you guys liked it. We didn't put up any of the comments because I did not want to wreck the intro, but hopefully you guys enjoy that as much as we do. We got a whole bunch of people jumping on board, and I gotta say, Jeff, you hit a home freaking run with that
Yes.
one, man.
Awesome. Nice job. So great. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Not,
It's an absolute pleasure.
there we go. So we at good morning. Geez, I would love to know who this is here,
morning.
man.
So it's been a
Facebook
rough
user.
evening.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of new people joining us. Welcome to Cow Tech. I'm your host, Adam Ross. We got Tyler Shane to my virtual left.
Hey.
And man, we are ready to rock and roll. If that didn't get you hyped up, I don't know what will. Yeah, going big time for sure.
It's a little bit getting a little bit more adding on to the show every episode. Just a little bit more, a little bit more. Who knows what will be? I mean, in 2 weeks it's gonna be our 25th episode. So that
It's
may be something
crazy.
special there.
Yeah. Yes, for sure, for sure, for sure. But we should jump right in. We got lots to talk about. And I think that the first order of business would have to be these new brushes that Heath has coming out.
Right here, yeah.
And I know you got yours on display. We got them right here. These are
Nice.
the new brushes that are going to be dropping. I know Tyler's got the specifics, and we've been lucky enough to been messing around with them for a little bit now. And obviously, I have my favorite. I know Tyler has his, but these black ones are just amazing. I love the grip, everything like that. And then a couple of these harder bristled ones, I'm going to actually use on the bottom of my bin to actually have a portable tire wash station.
Oh, that's a
So
good idea.
stay on the lookout for that. And all the other ones all have different type brushes or bristles,
Yep,
sorry.
bristles, yep.
And depending on your application, there's going to be one in there for you. And since Heath wants to make sure that you guys are hooked up, yes, they are pretty sweet, bud. Wants to make sure that we are hooked up. Our giveaways for today, let me just show that on the bottom. So hashtag Cow Tech again, just to keep it simple. Just to keep it simple. And with every giveaway today, we are going to include a set of brushes.
Yeah, so the what we're kind of calling these is calling them block brushes, and the reason we're calling block brushes because it's like a block of wood on the bottom of these, and like Adam said, these come in a set of 6. So when you buy this set, it's $17.99. It'll be on the website in about 2 more weeks. So when you get these block brushes today with winning the Cow-Tech code, you're going to get these before they hit the website. So really nice chance in addition to the prizes that we're going to be giving. So really cool addition. So yeah, we're going to call them block brushes. It's a group of 6, $17.99, and available here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of new users coming on board, which is awesome. But there
Yeah.
is a link to approve showing who you actually are, and it is on the description. So if you check that out, we can see who you are. And if you are to win a prize, it will actually help with the interaction. Obviously, everybody tuning in on Instagram, I do apologize for that, but you will have to either comment on YouTube or Facebook to be eligible for the prize.
And remember the code, it's hashtag cow-tech. I see some mismatched nomenclature going on. So if you don't get it right, you're not going to be into that automated giveaway.
Correct. Yeah, so obviously these brushes are going to be pretty cool. The nice thing is he's going to tie them in with some stickers as well, so you can dress them up in any of the themes
Yeah.
that you've become accustomed with. And yeah, they're pretty cool and ready to rock. Another thing that some people might have noticed is that there's a little something extra in your orders now. So not only
Yeah.
are you getting the regular maintenance tips and things like that for the products that you purchase, you're also going to see a double-sided coupon, or I guess like
So yeah, it's a
kind of pro
card.
tip blog. Yeah, like a card. So this is Mike's, and
Mhm.
it is super cool, and it will save you the 10%. And then we also have the Cow Tech on the other side. So all you have to do is just scan the QR code, and that will bring you to all things cool related to our podcast and the pro tip blogs. So definitely super cool to see all that stuff happening. And I got to thank Heath for putting it in all the stuff. Tom, I agree. If you want to have your stuff
Yeah.
dialed in the pits, having the skins are a must for sure.
Yeah, I
And
saw Tom's post about that. Tom got all his brushes all dressed up. Nice. I need to order mine. That's on my agenda tomorrow, is to order skins for all the brushes because I don't have those.
I too am going to have to step up my game as well, just to make sure that everything's dialed as possible.
And we're gonna
But
have skins coming for the block brushes too. So we haven't forgotten the folks that want the block brushes dressed up too. Those will be skinned as well.
yeah. Oh man. So now the fastest kid in all of Ontario, if not Canada, has the new carbon fiber mat, man. It is
Nice.
pretty cool. Thank you, Greg, for being my RC mule. It's always good to have people like you in the community helping each other out. Definitely fun. Yeah, man, honestly, I think everybody has their own favorites for sure. Mine is definitely the green streak, man. Ever since he
Yeah.
updated that look, man, I've been digging it. Most of my stuff is going green streakish, and obviously I'm going to keep rocking it for as long as I can. But we definitely want to start showing off a few things. So obviously we ended up last show talking about obviously the electronics cleaner and some of the potential uses for this cleaner. Well, I'm going to kind of get into one, and while I'm kind of demoing it, I'm going to actually show you how I clean my diff and get it ready in between rounds. Because so far, as a recap, we basically showed you how to prepare new kits. We showed you how to prepare kits that are already built, getting ready to go out for the next round. And then we also got into, after running with them, a little bit of cleanup, and the cleanup was just on the surface level. Now, if you want to get into it big time, obviously you'd want to tear it all down, go through each individual part, and kind of reapply all the essentials to that kit to make sure that you have the ultimate in preparation and maintenance preparedness. So I'm going to say that we should get into this little demo here and kind of have some fun with it.
Oh
I
yeah.
use Moo-Slick on the pillow of my Blizzard, and the snow did not. Yeah, man,
Oh
I'm telling
yeah.
you, the
Yep.
Moo-Slick has been
The
awesome.
Yeah, you're probably using the dry silicone. So this is perfect for that. And that's what we're going to talk
Yeah,
about a little bit more today. Is after Adam's kind of going through the cleaning setup, is we're going to talk about the three Moo-Slick products and kind of show you what the differences are and describe the formulas behind those and kind of let you kind of decide on what fits your equipment best.
yeah, and the cool thing is here, let me switch this up a little bit. We are gonna go like that, and then
There
there
you
we
go.
go. Nice
Nicely
and
done.
clean again. All right, so what you're gonna see is I'm going to move these brushes out of the way, and I'm basically just gonna rip into this real quick. And the thing that I like the best about the electronics cleaner is how many uses it actually has. Now, I know that we touched on a few of them before, and the electronics cleaner definitely has the power to eat through a lot of contaminants, all the oils and stuff like that. So you'll see inside this is a hot mess. So this is my favorite mat here because you know what? You can beat the heck out of this. I'm just going to pull all these out. Now, if I was going to have a ton of time, what I would do is I would actually throw that in the sonic cleaner. But for now, we're basically just going to let this work its magic, get it all in there nice and clean. And while I'm doing that, I know Tyler actually is going to talk about the other ones that we're going to be looking at. We're looking at all three of the Moo-Slicks today,
Right.
and
Exactly.
they are awesome. And you know what? I'm just going to keep on cleaning this real quick. It doesn't take me long. You can see how quickly it eats through all the oils and contaminants. And this thing will be ready to rock in literally minutes. So you can basically take that, put the gears back in, and once you have the gears back in ready to rock, you are ready for the new set of fluids. Once you get the fluids that you want picked and ready to go, you basically have your diff ready for the next round. Now, the reason why I use the electronics cleaner is because if you're changing the strengths in the actual fluid, you don't want to have the old fluid in there and contaminating it. And you want to make sure you have the new stuff in there. And basically, I float anywhere between 5K to 7K in the front. And then in the rear, it's usually 3K because I like to have it as light as possible with as little push as possible. So now, basically, you can see how clean that is inside. So hopefully the camera doesn't do it justice, but basically you are now ready to throw in a brand new set of oil clean, and you can see all the contaminants on the actual screen here. I got it all on the napkin, and I'm not worried about the mat because this mat can take a beating. Obviously, you've seen in the last show how much chemicals we sprayed on this mat, and it still looks brand spanking new. The one thing that I want to say is if you do have it dulled a little bit, that Moo-Slick trick that Tyler showed us makes that mat pop again. So now that you got the gear diff all done and ready to rock and roll, now all you have to do is just add the fluids that you choose, and you're off to the races again, like they say, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the nice thing of the Moo-Kleen Cleaner and Degreaser is it's a corrosive cleaner, so it's going to break down those greases and oils. Whereas the part and chassis wash is a non-corrosive. We talked about that in last episode.
Oh,
And what Adam's using is perfect application for the cleaner degreasers, break down those oils and greases. And there was actually a comment up here from Derek about there we go. About removing looks like hydraulic oil from construction RC. So this would be the product, the cleaner and degreaser would be that product that you'd want to use for that derrick, because it's going to break down those oils. You're going to want to make sure that you also had a question about the paint. So in order to be safe about that, what you want to do is apply it to a microfiber towel before you actually put it onto your RC and wipe off those hydraulic oils. So if you're concerned about paint removal, because it is a corrosive chemical, so just apply it to a microfiber towel, wipe your RC off, and it'll take care of that. For anything that's like not painted, feel free to use it, directly on the equipment. You saw last episode, you spray it right onto the electronics, and you spray it right on the plastics, metal. It won't hurt those.
All right. We definitely have a lot of cool uses for the silicone spray, and the Moo-Slick in particular, which is the silicone one. I know that I have been using it on all of my parts, and you can see right here on the pillow ball, I used to spray it right inside, and I know that it makes everything just run that much smoother. Now, the thing is with the Moo-Slick silicone spray, it doesn't last as long as the other options out there. Now, what other option do we have? I'm just going to show you the difference. We actually have the ultralight grease Moo-Slick, and the ultralight grease is kind of what I switched to now. And you'll see when you actually get it in, this one you actually have to let cure. And when you let it cure, you'll see that it actually protects it a lot longer than the silicone-based Moo-Slick. So the Moo-Slick here, and I think Tyler was talking about like what the proper usage for the Moo-Slick silicone-based one.
So it's kind of like in stages. So the first Moo-Slick that we came out with, and this has been around for years, is the silicone spray, and that's what Adam referred to at the first point of the show. And so what it is, it's a dry silicone lubricant. And so what its purpose is to lubricate moving parts that are exposed. So things like hinge pins, shock shafts, those type of things. But it's also it's part of it that you want to remember is that it doesn't last a long time. So you want to let it cure first after you spray it, and then you're going to keep reapplying it after every use. And so what we kind of showed last time is, what Adam and I have been doing is after you wash your vehicle, you want to make sure you're protecting it. And so the silicone spray is a great way, to just spray the underside of your vehicle, your shocks, your axles, all that type of stuff, just to kind of give them a protection. And again, it's going to let it cure overnight. I usually let mine about 12 hours, and then you're ready to go for the next day. So that's really the biggest point of it, is to make sure it cures, and it's gonna get rid of those little rust pockets of water that's sitting in any of your heads of your screws and things like that. So that's what that particular spray is supposed to help out with. Now, when you get to the next spray, the next Moo-Slick is the ultra-thin oil. And this also has PTFE in it, which PTFE is a Teflon. And so what this one's being used for is for bearings. And it's another kind of a step up. And I wouldn't say it's a step up. It's a different type of lubricant, meaning it's an oil-based lubricant. It's going to last longer than the silicone spray, but you're going to also want to let it cure. So with the PTFE, it always leaves a film. So when the oil has dissipated and is gone from those bearings, it still leaves a coating that's going to help those bearings last longer. And the way to actually use this, the best is to make sure that you let it creep into your bearings. So, you basically have your bearings sitting here on your mat. Make sure it's a carbon series mat, not your magnetic mats, and spray your bearings down. Let them sit overnight. Let all of that oil creep into all the crevices. It even works even with the shielded bearings. So that's even more important to let this bearing oil sit longer, because it's going to creep into those little tight spaces and give you a full range of lubrication.
Yeah. So Mike is asking, when building a B7, where would you use and need these sprays? So I know that I would definitely want to protect all the moving parts. Now, if you look at what Tyler has on his mat there, he's already got a drive shaft kind of kicking there. And those drive shafts are a perfect spot where you would want to spray some of the lubricants. And I know that there's different options. And I have kind of shied away from the Moo-Slick. I was using the Moo-Slick, but as he touched on, the Moo-Slick is really for low RPM applications because it doesn't last as long. It helps repel stuff, whereas the lubricant from the other Moo-Slicks actually lasts a lot longer, made for higher RPMs, are going to make sure that you have the protectants there for a little bit longer instead of it just dissipating real quick. So I know the ultra thin oil with PTFE, I've been using them on the bearings. Now, I was able to finally try them on the ceramic bearings, and honestly, they were buttery smooth. Like I couldn't believe it. I don't know if it was just ceramic bearings to begin with, but putting it in kind of gave me that peace of mind that my investment in the ceramic bearings is going to last a little bit longer. Because as everybody knows in the RC industry, the ceramic bearings are a little bit more when you buy them as a kit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know that you have some bearings and some other things. So obviously the RC bearings, you're going to get long lasting lubrication, and it is it defends against corrosion as well.
Right.
So the big thing with that is it has the biggest temperature range, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I know you got the notes in front of you. I should have printed it out as well. And it penetrates super fast, but please remember for the ultra thin oil with PTFE, you have to let it kind of cure. It doesn't spray on instantly and put it back together. You do want to let it sit there and cure a little bit in the bearings. Now I know Tyler has ones to show off here.
Yeah, I mean, and what here's kind of a little tip that I've learned is, and this also kind of makes the product last longer, is, I mean, if you take a dot box or any type of little plastic container and you put the bearings in it, you can actually spray some of the oil into the box, and that way you're getting full lubrication on both sides of it. Because if you leave them on a mat and you just spray it, you know, you're not really getting both sides of it. You can, yes, you can flip it around and stuff like that. But again, I like to put it in a little container, move it around a little bit, and then I just dump them out. That way they're fully covered, and again, let cure. So, and I'll tell you that if you're not using these little red tubes, that you know, we send you one of them, and you can actually buy a second one. They're different size nozzles with these products. Use them, especially for the bearings, because it's going to allow this product to last a lot longer. And especially when you put it in a container and you let it kind of the oil kind of sit there in it a little bit, you can reuse that over and over again. So like if you spray it onto a mat, it's kind of gone. Like you're going to overspray it. Like I'm kind of overspraying stuff, and it's more than you really need. So if you use a container, you can reuse that oil a little bit over and over again, and one can will last you a long time. So just kind of a tip on that I've learned, just to make, you know, the product last a little bit longer.
Another tip that I also want to say about the bearings, hopefully you can see that there. Most bearings have the rubber protector or
Yeah, the shield.
I guess shield in it. Yeah. So all I basically do is I just take my X-Acto knife and I pop it in there, and you can see how easily it comes out. And then you can see that now the bearings are exposed. I only pull one out at a time, and I actually spray it with the ball bearings out, let it soak in, and then I reapply the seal back to it. And I feel that has been the best bang for my buck when doing the bearings. And then that way I get the longevity and the actual performance gains from cleaning your bearings. Because if you don't take the time to do it correctly, all this is for naught. Trust me. I've tried to skimp out and take the easier shot, and it doesn't work. Shot glasses work. Yes, absolutely.
What don't they work well for?
Yeah, just make sure you're not using it for your actual shot.
Yeah, maybe just use that one particular for your workbench area.
Absolutely. And Zach is the one that was helping us do the animated CowRC logo. So thank you, Zach, for
Oh
doing
yeah,
that.
that's right. Thanks, Zach. It turned out really awesome with the green highlight. That's perfect.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So obviously we got a few usage for these new Moo-Slicks, and you know what, we're just touching on the surfaces of what you can actually do with these. I know that we have you guys asking some questions about what ones to use specifically. Now, the one thing that I started using the Moo-Slick oils on is not the ultra thin oil, but the grease. Sorry, the grease is actually on all of my out drives and joints. And basically what I did was I sprayed just a little bit, because these ones actually do collect a little bit of dirt and all that, whereas the silicone spray does not. So on the silicone side of things, I will use it on like the shock shafts and things like that, where you don't want to get any contaminants on, and it's a good repellent. Whereas when you want the better protection, you're going to want to use the actual grease. And I know that it kind of sprays on like Udder Butter, and the protection that it gives you is really good. So I put it in all of my metal components that actually have metal on metal moving and stuff like that. And then obviously I seen a question earlier about what to put into actual rock crawling diff. I think Tyler has one there. And for that, the correct answer was Udder Butter, which we will
Right.
get into in another episode. But
Yes.
yeah, we'll definitely get into that. That's more on the teardown part of things. And we want to just kind of tie everything together and make sure that we're hitting on all the key things, because obviously we're only touching on a couple items that we use the product for. But what we want to do is we actually want to educate you so you can make the best choice for your application, because there's going to be things that repel dirt. There's going to be things that actually coat. There's going to be times that you need it just for bearings. There's going to be times that you need it. Wow, that was crazy. There's going to be times that you need it for other applications, but I basically blacked out there again. I thought we were going back to episode 1 for a second.
No, we're good. You look good on your side.
Yeah. But the thing is, we just want to kind of give you guys the power of knowledge, and that way you guys make whatever the best call is for you. So the last thing with the ultralight grease is the wear protection and the lifespan for it. The lifespan for that is awesome. It significantly reduce the attraction of greased areas. So like what that means is if you're on a high RPM item, the amount that will fling off is limited. So
Right.
that is going to stay pretty much where you put it. And that's why I actually switched from the silicone to the grease for my pillow balls. And I felt that I've had to actually repeat that process a lot less. So, Corey, what's up, big guy? Can't wait. 2 weeks I should be racing with you. I got the invite to Belleville, man. I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah, the nice thing about the ultralight grease coating is it is similar to Udder Butter, but it's for exposed areas of your RC. So,
Right.
before we had this, we were using Udder Butter on our exposed CVD joints as an example. So what we were doing is we were coating these joints with Udder Butter, and it provides fantastic lubrication, but what it also does is it attracts tons of dirt and grime. And so it would stay in place. So all the properties were there, but it had a negative impact on attracting grease, or I'm sorry, attracting dirt and stuff, because it's a thicker chemical. And so the ultralight grease is much thinner, but still provides a lot of that lubrication property. So what we do here is, we spray this on our CVD joints, and we move that so you can actually see a little bit better. Set it here and let it cure. And so what it's doing is it's going to adhere to your parts a lot better than the Moo-Slick or the oil. I'm sorry, than the silicone or the oil. And so when you think about these three Moo-Slick products, you have the silicone, which is a dry lubricant. The wear is very limited on it. It's a very thin type of silicone. And then you get into an oil, which this is going to last longer and is appropriate for your bearings, and also gives you a PTF E protection. So when the oil runs out, you still have some protection. Again, it lasts longer than the silicone, but not as long as the grease. And so again, the grease is for these exposed areas. So areas that you want to have lubrication last a long time. You don't want it to have it fling off. So you're still lubricating. You're still have a longevity of that lubrication, and you're not attracting a bunch of extra dirt with that. So now you have a nicely lubricated CVD joint, and this is just one example of what you use them for, but is a nice exposed piece of equipment on your RC that is now not going to get dirty like our old product used to be. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit when I talk about the Udder Butter, but when we started talking about Udder Butter, which will be in the next episode, that's for an internal application. So we talked about a little about gear, gear diff, your ring and pinion gears. That would be an Udder Butter type of application where it's an internal component that it's not going to track dirt. The fling doesn't fling off outside of your diff case, and it stays put. And it's a type of waterproof grease. It's not waterproofing anything. It's a waterproof grease. So different applications, different products, so that way you can use them to what fits your needs.
Yeah. So Alex is asking for drive shaft slip joints. I know for the plastic one on my Traxxas,
Oh yeah,
I've actually used the silicone spray, and I've had awesome success with it. I haven't had the opportunity to test out any of the other sprays yet, but I am very curious if anybody else has. And I know MIP has the metal upgraded slip joints as well, which are 100% metal. So I'm very curious what would work good on that. So if anybody has any experience on that in the chats, I would love to hear it. But Alex,
yeah.
I've definitely had good success with the silicone spray for that application.
For me, I use the light grease, ultra light grease. So that for me, it gives a lot longer protection. It's like the CVD joints. To me, it's an exposed area of your RC. A lot of high RPMs, and you want to keep that lubrication still. So for me, that's what I do. Now, when I don't want to take them apart, I will use the Moo-Slick, like I was just actually kind of demonstrating on the bottom of this truck. When I'm going to spray it, obviously the shafts are not as exposed, but you kind of get the idea where I'm going to hit that as well with the Moo-Slick. Again, they don't kind of conflict each other. The grease and the silicone will kind of work together a little bit, but in my opinion, the grease is the best long-term solution.
Yes, absolutely. And Heath even said that the light grease is for the win. But I haven't had the opportunity to try it on there because obviously being in Canada, we are in the middle of winter. So the vehicles that I can drive are typically indoor vehicles at the moment. So we're definitely looking forward to going back outdoors for sure. So I know Johnny's getting a little off topic, but when I'm using the waterproofing on either my receiver or my ESCs, no, I don't notice a temperature increase. It would be internal. I'm guessing maybe a degree or two, but nothing major. I haven't had any failures of any sort, but mine, I have not submerged. I'm going to tell you that right now. The only reason why I did it is because some of the events, especially when you're running nitro, will allow to run in a little bit of rain. So I made sure that all of my stuff was waterproof as best as I could with the Cow Formal. So very good question. So go and help make them less brittle. Good question, man. OG Paperboy 77. So I've been using this since the beginning with my kits. And what I found is that in cold conditions, especially racing in Canada, even when we go to indoor, I'm wearing my winter coat. So I know that it has definitely made my plastic keep the integral oils and chemicals in it instead of wicking it away. So this helps lubricate and protect your plastics so it doesn't make them any more brittle than what they are. And in fact, I would want to say that it has helped protect and keep them as malleable as possible when running in the cold conditions. Now, I know that since I'm running the S-Works buggy, it has 3 different plastics. The standard plastic is the hard. They also have medium and they have
Oh,
soft.
okay.
Since I'm running in
Interesting.
super frigid conditions, I have all soft plastics on my vehicle at the moment. So
Yeah, and
definitely.
the nice thing with the Moo-Slick is if you coat your plastics, and really you coat
Mhm.
anything, and you're talking about cold, uh, snow's out in the cold, right? So it actually will help. It'll help kind of stop that snow from sticking into your RC and caking on and adding weight and restrictions and friction and all that type of stuff. So it won't, it's not like it's permanently taking off all the snow, but it definitely helps keep that snow so it's not getting packed on to your RC. So definitely a good question and appreciate the comment. So what we're kind of doing here is, again, want to kind of talk about these 3 one more time, just kind of make sure that everyone understands where we're going with these. So what we're looking for here is, our Moo-Slick dry silicone spray. This is the kind of the original one that we introduced years and years ago. And this one you're going to use, very limited lifespan. Not going to want to use on like high RPM type of parts. The oil, you're going to want to use that. That's a oil with PTFE, which is Teflon. So Teflon is going to stay along around that basically forever. So it's going to stay on your bearings forever. And that oil is there to add the added protection, corrosion resistance, and so forth. But that Teflon will always be there, even though the oil at some point will dissipate and come off. And then the grease, the ultralight grease, again, that's the longest wear lasting product that of these 3 Moo-Slicks. Good for exposed areas, good for high RPM, won't fling off onto your parts and pieces and leave you unlubricated. And also it limits, not eliminates, but limits the amount of dirt and grime that are going to get onto that lubricated part.
So, hey, we have to get the hashtags going again because unfortunately we lost them all with that crazy reset. I do apologize
Oh,
for the thing.
okay.
I I have 100% internet here too, which is really strange, but definitely something going on. So please do the hashtags again, just so we can get you in there. I am going to make sure that we don't flicker and have some craziness again. So there is the hashtag right there. Please make sure you get your entries back in. I do apologize for that. There we go. We got them coming in again. So I do apologize, but we are going to be giving away obviously one of each of the silicone sprays,
Yeah.
Moo-Slick, the grease, and the oil. So we will be giving away one of each, and because Heath is
And
being super nice, yeah, we
the
got the block
brushes.
brushes. Yeah, so
Yes.
it'll be pretty
And
cool.
remember, these block brushes, these aren't for sale yet. So you're going to be getting these before anybody else at your track or anywhere you're hanging out with has these.
There
And
you
so
go. You got
make sure you
a
keep the
shot at
questions
winning it
coming.
tonight.
Keep the
Yeah.
questions coming too as you're hitting the hashtag Cow-Tech. Ask us questions. What are you wanting to know about the Moo-Slick products or any other products that we sell? I did see Josh Rogers early on had asked about ratio of the part and chassis wash
Yes.
mixture and the concentrate. Me personally, I do an 8-to-1. So for me, I played around with different, and I think 8-to-1 is probably a little bit heavier
Agreed.
than what a lot of other people are doing. I think people are kind of more like a 6-to-1 ratio type of, but I like it because most of my vehicles at least are a lot dirtier. So I'm getting like I'm finding that my vehicles have a lot of mud on them. It's got, just stuff tangled in it, grass, and I like to let it soak on there. So my personal favorite is 8-to-1, and I let it soak on there for 2 to 4 minutes after you spray it. And then depending on the application, I might sometimes just wipe it off with a microfiber towel. I might use a hide wipe, to agitate it a little bit more, or I might hit it with a hose. So there's a little bit of different plus and minuses when you start going to using and introducing water. So when I introduce water, that's really where these Moo-Slick products start coming into handy after you wash it. So you start needing to protect all of that, all those plastics and metals from the grease that you've basically removed off of it. So always remember that, you know, the more you use any type of corrosive cleaner. Now, cleaner and degreaser, I'm sorry, part and chassis wash is non-corrosive, but when you start using cleaner degreaser like Adam was using at the beginning of the show, that will remove all those oils and silicones and greases from your vehicle. So make sure you reapply them whenever you're using that particular cleaner and degreaser, because it will remove those. So it's kind of it's those. That's why we're kind of doing this show in steps. Is, remember our first episode, number 22, I believe, was we talked about prepping your vehicle before you even take it out, out on the track or out on the trails. And then second episode, which was number 23, was cleaning the vehicle. So having a non-corrosive and a corrosive cleaner to clean your vehicle after you've used it. And now we're episode 3, and now it's 24, is talking how do we re-lubricate that. So after you've cleaned it, how are you basically bringing this vehicle back to its performance glory?
Man, look at that. Corey's answering for us. I was gonna bring that
Nice.
up. But basically, yeah, we are going to get into the actual Udder Butter in the next episode, and you're going to see it live. I'm going to pull the diff out of my buggy live to show you how well it has protected it over the entire life of the buggy. So when I built it brand spanking new, I built it with the best. Put it in there. I knew I was going to be protected, and you're going to see it live coming out.
Yeah, and you'll find there's a lot of, I think grease, what I've seen recently on Facebook forums is there's a lot of bad information going on about greases. And it has to do with, a lot of people want to use automotive grease. I hear marine grease all the time, or red and tacky grease all the time. And yes, is that going to lubricate your diffs? It will lubricate your diffs. But what it's doing is it's introducing a lot of friction, because you're using automotive grease and you're not using a grease and a product that is RC specific. And that's what CowRC is doing. This is not remanufactured automotive products. This is RC specific products. Every one of these products are RC specific products. They are not relabels on anything you find at an auto parts store. They are specific, proprietary. Most of them are proprietary formulas. And Udder Butter is one of those. And I hear people talk about packing a diff with grease. Well, two things are wrong with that comment. One, you're adding way too much friction into that diff. We're talking about toy vehicles here. We're talking about little diffs that are the size of a quarter and little electric motors. Those things don't have the power to overcome all of that extra friction. And that's why you do hear a lot of people blowing up motors. I hear people talk about Traxxas motors, how they're not good. Well, that's not a true statement, because what you're doing, what I see a lot of people doing, again, packing diffs. Well, that maybe not the strongest motor on the market, plus a lot of friction equals a blown motor, and that's just not a fair and accurate statement to say a motor's not bad or is not good because of that reason. And then there's also the fact that you're just using way too much of the product. So if you pack a diff, you're using 10 times more of that product than you really need to. And Adam will show you in the next episode, you're just lightly coating the teeth, and that's going to last you a long time.
And obviously, from the other show, we got an awesome tip from one of our drivers. And what they did was they actually used the grease with the Udder Butter, mixing it in to get a lighter oil, but just having that little added extra protection. So he mixed it up and it was phenomenal. I actually did it in my mud box because I wanted less rolling resistance. And you want to talk about maximizing your setup in a stock class, you got to use every trick necessary. And that one was a huge one. I know if you missed that show, it was a banger, because a lot of people went and did that exact same trial. We saw all the pictures on the fan pages and everything. So I know a lot of people utilized that tip, and that was from Todd. So it was, man,
yes, that was
awesome
great.
tip. Oh my God.
He blew up the internet with that one.
Oh, he did it live right on the show, and everybody couldn't believe it. Yeah, definitely one of those things that will make it into the Cow Tech archives for sure.
Here's a good comment from Brian. So about diff oils in the future, we haven't really talked about the diff oils, but the udder butter and the gears and the turnbuckles. You're right on. That's exactly what you're supposed to be using those for, or using that product for. The turnbuckles especially. I mean, we've talked about that off and on for a few episodes, and having that adjustability on those threads, because and honestly, that's probably when I build a kit, the part that I dislike the most about building a kit is threading on those ball cups, and then before I knew that Udder Butter provided a lubrication for those threads, I would always, when I'm trying to adjust them, pop them off, and it was so frustrating because they're
Yeah.
so hard to put on, and then when you get them on finally and you want to make a tweak, it's like a never ending problem. So I mean, for me, that was one of the biggest improvements to my RC game that I found.
Yeah, and honestly, it is so much easier to run it through with the udder butter on each of the threads. And obviously, once you get it in, having them on and in place and making the adjustments on the vehicle makes it so much better. Because I've done it on all my two-wheel drive applications. Because, like Tyler said, I was sick of them popping off when I'm just trying to change it like just a millimeter here and there, and they're popping off. I'm like, what the heck? And if you keep popping them off, they're going to continue to keep popping off. So it's
Yeah, oh yeah.
definitely one of those things.
Well, here's a good question from Kevin. And I'm not sure when you're asked what episode was that. I'm assuming you're talking about the
Todd.
turnbuckles, but tell you what, maybe that's something Adam can do for us next episode, is show us how that works on when we start talking about the Udder Butter in episode 25. And for everybody who wants to know, we do archive all of the Cow Tech live shows on the CowRC YouTube page. So you can go back and look at any episode, and we're actually going back through and doing some time stamping on those episodes in the description. So that way you can find links to the products that we talk about, as well as any of the topics we're talking about. So when we start going through these topics and we go back through and kind of start linking that to it, you'll be able to find it a little bit easier. So appreciate the comment, Kevin, because that's I think you bring up a very good point, and we are working on that.
Absolutely. And just stay tuned too. We are going to have podcasts too for people that just have to listen to this
Yeah.
this cool show. We're going to have the podcast option coming up very shortly. But for sure. Tyler, do you remember
Yes.
threading
And
the
Adam
soil?
knows too.
Yeah, man. That's why I seen that when it popped up. I was like, oh man.
I think I have permanent nerve damage in my fingertips from that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, a little Udder Butter grease on the turnbuckle goes a long way. That's for sure. It makes adjusting so much smoother. Yeah, and I know Corey is racing all the 10 scale stuff now indoors, and I'm looking forward to racing with him and a couple other CowRC team drivers in 2 weeks. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yes, definitely green streak for sure. I'm all for that. And they were so tight. Johnny, I'm telling you, man, I don't know if it was the wrong size link for the application, but man, it's like almost like in a vice trying to do it
Oh
with
yeah.
it was insane. Even with the Udder Butter, I still think it was the wrong size. Like it was so
Yes.
tight. Yeah. So, oh man, and we got Motorama. So you know
Oh
what?
yeah. That starts in
I
like 2
might just
weeks.
have to sleep over in the States Saturday night because apparently at this track, they take a church, switch it over on the Friday, race all day Saturday, and have to switch it back Saturday night. So they have the church set up for Sunday. So what's Tino going to win today?
That's
Well,
funny.
you know what? I didn't see our top winner of the show yet. So you might have a chance.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, definitely some cool stuff. The interaction has been awesome But yeah, it is. Thank you, Kyle. It's the Belleville RC Club. It's coming up on the 17th. So next weekend I got the Canadian boys. We're going to be racing with them, and then obviously Belleville the following weekend. So I'm very blessed. I get to do back-to-back weekends. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm surprised at how many people prep with Simple Green instead of tire wash. I am too, because once they have the opportunity to try this out, there's no going back. Not only for the performance aspect, but for the smell and scent alone. It is killer. Like, if you haven't checked this out, come see me in the pits. I will make sure that I have the full CowRC arsenal with me so you guys can come over and have some fun with that.
I mean, that was a good comment, because it kind of goes off of my auto parts store comment. That's an auto parts type of product, and it's a corrosive product. So it's not good for plastics. It's not good for tires. So that's why why we're so specific about non-corrosive versus corrosive cleaners, because it does make a difference longevity of your parts and pieces.
Tom's like, simple what? But John, I am using this now. I was using the silicone spray, and the silicone spray was awesome, but I had to keep reapplying it after pretty much every round, where this actually lasts a lot longer. And this, you let it cure, and then once it's cured, you're going to have that protection last usually for the whole day, and then you'll see me reapply it at the end of the night, so it's ready again for the next day and mains. So just swing by the pits, bud. I will definitely hook you up with some samples and make sure that all your vehicles are prepped and ready to rock. The tire wash on slicks are amazing. Yes, definitely Facebook user. We don't know who you are, but yes, they work amazing on slicks. Actually, I haven't found a tire that it hasn't worked good on yet. And
Right.
I've been using it on stock Traxxas tires. I've been using it on J Concepts, Pro Line, Pro Circuit, Sweep, and I think there was one other one that we tried it on, and it's been phenomenal. So far, we haven't had any issues whatsoever. And the best thing is, if you start off with using that, it won't strip anything out of the tire. It just keeps it
Right.
like it's brand spanking new. So you'll actually get a little bit more of a runtime out of those tires. And let's face it, tires are pretty costly in this RC game. So if any way you can maximize the lifespan of those tires, definitely get that. It does smell like the hide wipes, man. I'm telling you.
Well, it says it smells like an 80s car wash. I don't know what. I'm really curious about this. Because I don't know. I don't remember what an 80s car wash smells like.
That new shine, so amazing. Yeah, it is such a great product. It has so many uses as well, and it's a hand wash too. So don't forget that. So if you don't have the hide wipes with you, which would be a huge no-no in my books, but you can definitely use it to keep your hands clean, and especially when you're at the track and wrenching. It's always cool to have that. Yeah, for sure. So he's saying like clean. Clean. Yeah, so the Facebook user, hopefully there's only one unnamed Facebook user, but
That's
you
gonna be
are
tricky.
going to have to. Yeah, because he's trying to win.
Okay, so we're just gonna say this ahead of time. The spin, if a Facebook user, because we don't know who you are, even if there is an only one, we don't know who you are. So if it comes up as Facebook user, we have to spin it again.
All right, that's a good clause. So all you have to do is just click on the link, and you can actually share with us. You just have to approve it. It's part of the Facebook thing, so nobody's stealing your privacy. Trust us, we're not going to steal anything. We just want to have interactions with you, and it makes it a little bit better, because then your avatar and all your stuff will pop up on the screen instead of just being a blank user. Definitely makes it more interactive. But we are up on 5 minutes. You want to start giving some stuff away?
Yeah, we've got to give 3 of these prizes away. So you want to do a bottle of Mo Slick Silicone
Spray
silicone
first? up first for
And the
grab.
brushes.
Don't forget the brushes. Thank you, Heath, for this. So let's do it. Good luck, everybody.
Corey,
All right, Corey, man.
congratulations.
So there is number one. So we are gonna draw again. So what do you think is up next? You want to do the
Do the
oil?
oil, the ultra thin oil, and the
Okay, bud.
brushes.
Oil and the brushes. Good luck, everybody. All right. So this is a YouTube viewer. So
Okay.
obviously you are going to have to message us and make sure that you get in contact via either the support at Cow Tech, mail, via the webpage or whatever. Yeah, Facebook user, it will not enter you in, unfortunately, because you did not give Facebook permission to go on there. We do apologize, but hopefully you will have that all situated for the next show. So we got one more fluid to give away. So
Yep,
we are
we're gonna
going to give
do
away light grease.
the light ultra light grease coating and the block brush set.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Last one for the night.
Tom,
Heck yeah, man.
congratulations.
So we got a few of you guys getting some super cool stuff. And the best thing about getting the brushes along with the sprays is you're going to be one of the first because they
Yeah,
aren't even available on the website yet. So congratulations to all three of the winners. Please either message me or Tyler via Facebook. You can look us up, get a hold of us, and we will definitely hook you up. So the two users we know both Corey and Tom, but we do not know the YouTube viewer. So please make sure that you are messaging us and we will get you your prize.
yeah,
Now,
and I think he won before, and I think he and I had interactions before on this, so we should be good.
okay, nice.
So we're good.
Nice.
And one other thing to mention, we didn't mention at the beginning of the show. So we talked last episode about the solder mat that's coming out. So just so everyone knows, pre-orders are going to be coming out in about a week. So kind of keep maybe, I mean, so it'll be before our next episode. So our next episode is in 2 weeks, which will be episode 25. So our big 25th episode. So maybe we'll have to do something a little different for that one to celebrate the 25th episode. But before now, between now and the next episode, those pre-orders are coming out. So keep an eye out on the CowRC website for that if you're interested. Get your pre-order in and get ahead of the crowd.
Yeah, man. And don't forget when you're ordering to use our Cow Tech code, save you guys some cash.
Yes. We might even we've been talking about it. Maybe a little special addition to that code. And I think maybe the 25th episode would be a good time to introduce that. So we had a little bit of conversation before that. So kind of another incentive for everybody for being such great viewers. I did see we had over 50 people
Over 50. Yeah, man.
tune in today. And that doesn't include the Instagram folks. So thank you so
Nope.
much, everybody.
Yes, man. It is awesome. And you know what? You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the technical difficulties. And I ended up knowing what it was. It was the draw tool that kept twitching. That's what kept kicking me off. So what I got to do is I just got, yeah. So the draw tool, anytime anybody did that hashtag Cow Tech, it was actually pulling me off. So I had to switch it to the other screen. So
Wow.
I didn't even realize that until it was too late. So hopefully
Wow,
we got
interesting.
that
Well, I'm glad
all.
you figured that out. I wouldn't get it.
Oh man, I was like, what the heck, man? Like gonna get a candle going again, like episode 1.
Right.
But
The
yeah,
snowstorm's coming.
yeah. So we'll see you guys for episode 25. For now, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.